So I want to introduce our guest, and at the top of the list, we have Peter Vauthy, Corporate Executive Chef and Managing Partner of Red the Steakhouse. Thank you so much. I am honored to meet you.
My pleasure.
He comes bearing gifts.
He does.
And he brought us incredible steak delicacies. We've got sliders. Peter, now, tell me about the steak. Oh, well, tell me about the sliders, man. What's going on here?
Well, no good chef comes without gifts. So just remember that. This morning, I give you guys a little bit of certified Angus Beef Prime filet sliders, a little brioche bun, a little bit of arugula in there. You can't miss it. It's great. It's just a little bite. I would have came and grilled out for you guys, but didn't know what your grill situation was here at the studio.
Actually, oddly enough, we have a pretty nice grill situation here. Can I get camera 3 to kind of zoom in on this beautiful, beautiful piece of meat? Okay. We really appreciate it. And I've got affinity towards steak, as I think everybody knows here. And, it's a beautiful thing. So can we look at that? Look at that. Look at that. Oh, look at that.
There we
that.
go.
Oh.
I knew it. I knew as soon as I saw that they were opening up here in Indy, I knew we had to have them on the show.
Absolutely. So I want to take a bit. I can't eat the bread because of the carb thing. But, fuck some like yourself.
So tell us a little bit about Red the Steakhouse.
I was chef for the company, and we decided to do a little different concept. Steak houses were hot at the time.
Yep.
And opened up our first location, which was very, very small at the time. And by some weird stroke of nature, our second location happened to be in Miami Beach. As being the only unencumbered partner at the time, I moved to Miami Beach, and we've kind of expanded from there. And Indy came on our list of places we needed to go.
Awesome. So where does the name Red the Steakhouse, where did that come from? Well,
we tossed a lot of names around, and then someone that was working on the project with us started writing things down, saying about red meat and red wine, and that kind of flowed into, we want something very concise, and red kind of popped out there, That's that great color of steak when you cut into it, that red and the marbling and things like that. So it stuck, and we kind of took it and ran with it.
And in fact, let's double down on that.
Aaron's face is like, oh, amen. You're preaching to the choir.
Well, honestly, I got to say, I've come across a couple of scenarios where I've overheard steaks being ordered well done. And it's sacrilege. It is truly sacrilege. So actually embodying the concept of a medium rare steak and that red connection. I mean, you've got me as a loyalist for life. What's your thoughts about well done steaks?
I think how you order your meat is like kind of where you worship. Okay? if you want to worship in the well done range, that's fine, but don't make me come and worship with you.
Literally, I've known chefs that have actually walked out and flat out refused to cook a beautiful piece of meat well done. I know you have the public to appeal, but
steaks are to each his own.
Do they deserve the steak if they order it well done? That's what I'm saying.
If your credit card clears, eat it any way you want.
Aaron, I don't think I've told you this story before, but along the red meat lines, we had a review. I don't know if it was like a 3-year review or something. So we went out to a local steakhouse for it to celebrate or whatever. And so we each ordered steak. We both ordered medium rare. And so I'm cutting into my steak, and it's a little too rare for me.
Right.
It was pretty rare. And so I was like, but I can't send a steak back in front of Aaron. I can't send this back. And so I'm eating it. It was pretty rare. And then you start cutting in your steak, and you're like, oh, this is too rare for me. And you send your steak back after I ate mine.
That is funny.
I was like, I'm not sending a steak back.
Well, it's like haircutting. I mean, no offense, Peter. It's like haircutting. I mean, you can get it cut a little bit, but if you cut it too much, you can never get it back, right? It's like cooking steak. You can undercook it and be able to adjust it, but you can't not cook a steak back to rare.
Unfortunately, that is the case.
That is the case. So it's an art form. It absolutely is. Anyway, sorry, not to focus on that, but I literally, it is a bane of my existence.
This is true.
I totally understand that. It's I cringe sometimes when we have one of our very high end steaks and someone comes in and says, "Well done," and I'm just like, "Oh well, if that's how you, that's your decision to make." And I usually will go to the table and give them a little bit of a warning that it's going to taste like an old shoe. That's
exactly.
The shoe you want. That's
you
what
have
get.
the ability to replace it with a piece of shoe leather at that point in time. They won't know the difference. Just kidding. So you got 2 locations in Cleveland and 1 in Florida. What made you choose Indy for your 4th location?
We started looking for our locations, and we kind of have a lot of Midwestern roots in our restaurant group, and it seemed appropriate that Indianapolis, with its affinity for steak and steakhouses, and the fact that we just do things a little bit differently, we thought it was a great match for our blueprint, and I think it's going to be.
Cool. Very cool. I mean, yeah, we're seeing such great quality steakhouses come around as well. I mean, just over the last 2 to 3 years, it's been amazing. So, I mean, kudos to you for making that choice. You were named, this is fantastic, you were named one of America's sexiest steakhouses.
That is very true.
It just flows off the tongue right there, to be honest with you. So what makes Red the Steakhouse so different from the other Indy steakhouses?
Well, I think our background for the chefs in the company and the chef that I've trained is it's a very classical background. We don't take any sort of concessions on quality at all. Starting with our steaks, we are serving certified Angus Beef Prime for our steaks, which is the top 1% of all USDA graded cattle. So it starts there, and everything goes up. After that, it's some of the little things that we do. All my locations are expecting a drop off of fresh king crab this afternoon at some point.
You're killing me, Smoke.
Nice, yeah. Do we have that picture of what? I think I have. Yeah, I think you see it right there, the king crab there. I think there's another one there that has.
Oh,
there it is. Look at that.
Lord.
That thing's huge.
You have a wonderful job.
I do have a wonderful job. I love that. I mean, I spent a season kind of cooking or fishing in Alaska, and once I saw fresh king crab, and years later, I was like, wait a minute, this exists. I have to track it down. So a dozen phone calls later, I found out where it is. And when fresh king crab season comes around, we're on it. And so everyone right now is probably opening a box of Bering Sea Gold, which I call it. And it's my personal opinion, it's one of the finest things to come out of the ocean.
Absolutely.
Hands down.
Absolutely.
So what else makes
the
it
fillet
sexy?
of the sea?
We kind of interrupted there with the king crab thing. So
I think our environment, I mean, one thing about steakhouses, at least in the past, was they were very male-dominated environments. Ours are a little more sexy, a little bit lighter. We've got some features in there, a lot of a kind of it's exposed stainless. We have a Cortan steel, which is kind of aged outside on the walls. The menu has a great array of steaks, of course, but our seafood, as you were talking about the king crab, is on point. Our fish comes in fresh. There's times that I get stuff that's fresh off the boat and then have it, shipped up, whole tuna, things like that. So we really concentrate on fresh quality ingredients. Nothing's frozen. We make everything in-house. So if you come in and say, chef, what's not made in-house? I say, well, there's one thing, that's ketchup. That's about it. Everything else is made right in the location, fresh to order. And I think that's really kind of separates us apart in the markets we've been in.
Yeah.
You know what would set you even more apart? Don't offer ketchup.
I have no choice about that. That's a staple.
Have you? I mean, that's an atrocity. If you actually see somebody put ketchup on their steak.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you there.
Oh my gosh,
you shouldn't need anything for your steak.
No, absolutely not. And hey, well, we saw that you're using your grandmother's meatball recipe and red sauce recipe, and your dad's green beans recipe, and a cheesecake recipe from a New York Italian market. That's fantastic.
Well, being a chef has changed a lot since I got out of high school. It wasn't even an option. It was, it was a trade, or you go to a trade school for that. Is that things changed over the course of time, and Food Network became so popular. You can have me back on another time about what I think about Food Network, and I'm happy to tell you. And throughout my life, food's been a big part of my family, both my father's side and my mother's. As I picked up these things along the way, it kind of flowed into my career as being a chef. So the cheesecake is one of my favorite stories. My great-grandmother would take me to this little Italian market, and in the 70s, let's say, and tell you how old I am, the gentleman who owned it was retiring and closing the market, and he said, here's the recipe. He gave me a piece of paper. I was 4. And for some reason, that recipe stayed among my possessions, and when I became a chef, I was like, there it is. We're ready to go. And very basic, but it's the best cheesecake you're ever going to have.
I love a good cheesecake.
Everyone should love a good cheesecake.
I know, right? It's my daughter's favorite, too, and she's 10 months old. You should see her face when we gave her her first bite of cheesecake. It was it was so cute.
All right, so let's dig in deeper on talking about food here. What are some of the more favorite dishes that you have over at Red the Steakhouse?
Our cream corn has become something that's been legendary, for lack of a better word. It's when you have it, you're going to say, well, what else is in here, chef? And I'm going to say it's corn and cream. That's all should be in a cream corn. Our corn comes in fresh, of course. We take it off the cob with a knife. We use the corn cobs and make a corn cream out of that. And those are kind of folded together. A little bit of breadcrumbs on top, cornbread breadcrumbs on top of that. And you have one of our signature items. And other ones are mac and cheese, because I can't do anything the regular way. I have to be more difficult and make my chefs scream and cry. We bring 4 Italian cheeses to the mix for our mac and cheese. You have Parmesan, Pecorino, Fontina, and not any regular Fontina, Fontina Valdosta, the original Fontina, and Raclette, which is a Italian and Swiss mountain cheese. You fold all those together and bake that off, and you've got one of the best mac and cheeses you're going to have. And of course, if you want to even go even crazier than that, you could either add lobster or king crab to that if you really want to kind of kick it up a notch. So, as we were discussing menus today, my chef and I, of course, because everyone loves bacon, the bacon mac and cheese is going to be coming on board very, very soon.
We had an entire bacon theme last show, and I want to continue it. Every show, we should be absolutely referring to bacon in one way, shape, or form. So thank you very much for contributing into that.
Oh, absolutely. Actually, International Bacon Day is coming up. We'll have an entire bacon menu we'll be working on at that time.
When is that? I know it exists, but when is it? Because we literally have to celebrate.
I believe it's sometime the end of August. Off the top of my head, I can't give you an exact date, but
Tom's got it.
Well, there you go.
We got the Google. September 2nd.
There you go.
September 2nd is bacon.
There's actually a Google featured snippet about it.
That is a beautiful thing.
It's so popular.
So if you want to come and have some bacon madness, we will be doing that, including bacon wrapped tater tots, bacon donuts, and bacon wrapped steaks and things like that. So we'll be doing that in a ridiculous way, like we do everything at Red.
Why does everything you say make me happy? I'm just so excited.
Maybe you missed lunch. I don't know.
I had a salad. That's my point.
Your problem.
Hey, so Devour Indy is just around the corner, and you are doing a 3 for $39 special. So, what are some of the options for that special?
We're giving a wide array of our menu for that event, and we have things that are going on that are just going to be, we're going to feature our steaks. We're going to feature our wild salmon. We're going to feature some of our signature items. We're going to feature, we make fresh donuts every morning, for example. So, and then we cook them off, at night. So we're going to have an opportunity for everyone to come in and experience Red at its pinnacle, because that's what you need to do, because that's how people come back.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so that's coming up, and that's coming up real soon.
Yeah, that's August 21st, as I pulling up their website here. So
and we're all ready to go. We've kind of worked the menu out already, and we're ready to do it.
Oh, fantastic. So tell us about your champagne and oysters on Thursday. Oh, my gosh, this is incredible.
So champagne and oysters on Thursdays. You can come and get $1 oysters, clams, mussels, deals on champagne. So, in the afternoon, had a long day, you come down there, and we're going to be featuring Veuve Clicquot as our champagne sponsor, and be able to come in and really have an experience. And, it's summertime. It's hot. A little bit of chilled oysters and some champagne. It'll change, any day around and make you leave with a smile on your face.
Oh, my Lord. Okay, so lastly, I wanted to touch base on this one. You also have a wine dinner on August 23rd. You have 5 courses for $99. All right, lay it on me.
Justin Winery, some of my favorite wines. I've worked with them in the past. We kind of have a love relationship, and we're going to be pairing some of our just a very high-end classic menu with some incredible wines.
Where do people get tickets for that?
You can call the restaurant directly and just speak to the host or hostess there, or speak to one of the managers and book it. Those kind of things are fun for chefs. We can kind of do different things on our regular menus, things we can't do regularly. And there, we're bringing in some great, local artisan cheeses to go with our cheese course for that meal, and some other things that are going to be really, really special.
Gotcha. And then the Colts are going to start season here. So you're normally open for dinner, right? Just normally, what time do you open for dinner? For?
So we open at 2:30.
Oh, 2:30. Okay.
So, but for the Colts, we're going to open at 11. some signature light bites at the bar. You can still have a full dinner menu when you come in.
Cool.
So, those Colts fans that want to come out and, have a steak before the game or after the game are going to have that ability to do so.
Awesome. So we didn't really talk about where he's located. We'll talk about the building that you're in.
It's 14 West Maryland. It's actually an old hotel, so it's got a lot of personality to the building itself. We've got 3 floors, a kind of floating mezzanine level looking over the bar in the main dining room. It has a beautiful table for like 16 people. And then upstairs we have 2 private rooms plus dining. So it's really got a lot of personality to it. And that's something that we really liked about the building when we came to Indy. And now that it's done and finished, it's really, really striking.
I'm sold. All right. So we're going to just drop the mic and go now. I got nothing left. Everybody needs to be following you on social media as well, because you guys are doing a great job and being able to share the information and really engaging with your brand loyalists that are checking you out. So certainly go to Red the Steakhouse, but on Twitter, Red Steakhouse, Facebook, Red the Steakhouse, Instagram, Red Steakhouse, as well as at Chef Peter Vauthy, right? Vauthy, and you're burning it up, man. That's fantastic. And the website itself is
redthesteakhouse.com.
Redthesteakhouse.com. So hey, that is perfect branding right there. So you got some great recommendations today on the show, some great specials that are coming up, and what are you doing? I know you're relatively brand new into the Indianapolis space. What are you looking at from kind of a community involvement down the road? Because obviously, we've got the different eating events coming up soon. But what else are you looking at from an involvement standpoint?
We've always been really conscious about the events we get involved in the community. I've moved. My executive chef here has moved to town. He's become and so is my general manager. So they're here. I'm traveling in and out to make sure that things are on the up and up. But we're going to be very involved in the community, whether it's events or Devour Indy and things like that. And that's the fun stuff for chefs. Doing that is what kind of keeps us going in between the monotony of something or things going on. So that's the fun stuff for us as chef and restaurateurs. Cool. And being involved in the community is the best thing for us to do.
Fantastic. Well said. So we're certainly going to watch you grow here in Indianapolis, and thanks so much for everything that you're doing in Indianapolis and bringing the meat regularly. I mean,
we bring the meat, that's for sure.
So check out Red the Steakhouse on a regular basis here, and I think we will. And in fact, somehow we're going to get the entire team down there, maybe in chunks. Right, but because we could converge on you with a 20-person shop here.
That's great.
Honestly, Red came out with sliders for the entire staff here. That was just fantastic, and he knew who he was dealing with whenever he came out. So that's awesome. And thank you so much. You did not have to do that. That's truly
absolutely my pleasure.
That's fantastic. All right, so check out Red the Steakhouse.